Hi folks, this is All the Fruit and I'm seriously mad. I came to Emperor Charlemagne's palace to visit his garden, which is a joke. I'm here in the beautiful town of Ingelheim, which houses one of the most important imperial palaces from the time of Charlemagne. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They have a lot of money and specialists, and yeah, of course, not everything is left from the original palace. This is part of the fortifications around the whole assembly of palaces, buildings, houses, and a church. And yeah, I came here specifically because I read that 9 years ago they constructed a so-called Karlsgarten or Charlemagne garden. Well, what is a Charlemagne garden? Basically, this emperor was moving from palace to palace throughout the whole Frankish Empire, and wherever he went, he wanted to have all his favorite fruits, veggies, and herbs. And so he wrote the book, a very important book, Capitulari de Vilis et Curtis Imperialis, which says how you have to create a farm or a garden. And yeah, I thought that here, in one of his main and most beautiful and most important palaces, they were really trying to recreate a garden of that type. But look at this Emperor Charlemagne garden, how they massacred it. They put a lot of metal everywhere, which is definitely nothing of the origin, has nothing to do with the original design. They made metal bridges, they made some funny metal parapets and boardwalks. Here they tried to restore some very representative part of the palace with columns and stuff, and just use some modern geometrical stones which have nothing to do with the original design. And yeah, I would have forgiven all of that if they had made a proper fruit and veg garden like Emperor Charlemagne ordered. And this guy's word was law for a big part of Europe. I mean, he was the first emperor for almost half a millennium. And they basically massacred this law. Look what they made here. A teeny tiny herbal garden, a couple herbs, a couple grapevines, a couple trees, and even the sign is gone. I don't know if somebody vandalized it or if they noticed that they had written a lot of bull and removed it. But yeah, here in the garden there are a couple herbs of the nice from the time of Charlemagne, some irises, some Altea officinalis, some sage and rosemary, and yeah, some rose and grapevine. Over there I see more different types of sage. I see mallow. Well, let's cover the fruit tree since we are already here. A fig tree, an almond, a quince, an apple tree, another apple tree actually with the apple. The apple was the only tree where Charlemagne mentioned several varieties. With all the other fruit trees, he basically didn't care so much about varieties as long as the species were correct. A cherry, and it's not even an original cherry, but some funny ornamental cherry. Another apple tree and a rose. And okay, and some lavender. That's all at the UNESCO World Heritage Site, at one of the most important imperial palaces of Charlemagne's empire, built by Charlemagne himself, with the garden designed by Charlemagne himself, with the garden design made into law for all his palaces and monastery gardens and other stuff. Look how they massacred it. Oh my god. It's really sad to look at that. They really have all the money and all the specialists to do it right, and look what they did here. Look how they destroyed this historical setting. This was the most important, well, one of the most important gates of the palace, and they basically they massacred the architecture, they massacred the garden, they massacred everything. Well, folks, there are a couple more attempts to restore the original gardens of Charlemagne, usually in his old palaces or important medieval monasteries. I'll try to visit another one. I made the video anyway, but it's rather a video of how not to do it. This would have been criminal stupidity at the time of Charlemagne. I'm sure it would have been punishable. Well, no, I'm not sure. It was punishable by law to make something like that and present it to your emperor in his very own palace. So folks, this was how not to do a garden as ordered by Emperor Charlemagne himself in Emperor Charlemagne's own palace. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful country of Germany, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.